This is a chessboard, alternating black and white squares in an 8x8 grid. In order for the grid to be right, the bottom right square facing you must be white. There are 6 pieces in chess: rook, knight, king, queen, pawn, bishop. Now this is how they go on the board in order: rook, knight, bishop, queen, king, bishop, knight, rook. And then the next row is nothing but pawns forever and ever. If you aren't a major screw up, then your queen will be on her color: white queen on white space and black queen on black space. A couple overarching rules: pieces can't move through or jump over other pieces unless it's a knight, and then only because horses can jump really high. And the player using the white chess pieces always go first because they think they're better than the black pieces. I mean, because tradition. Yeah, that's it. Tradition. The whole game is about capturing your opponent's pieces. If your piece runs into another piece during its move, it captures that piece and its turn is over. The piece then ceases to exist, never to return. Unless one of your dwarfs gets to the other side, then you can swap him out for any other piece. This is called promotion. All of these pieces are special snowflakes and move in their own weird way. This is a pawn. Well, no, it's not. This is a computer's rendition of a pawn. This is a pawn. Pawns can only move 1 square forward at a time, unless it's the first time they've moved, and then can move 2 squares forward. Pawns can capture pieces to their forward diagonals on the board, but cannot capture pieces directly in front of them. This is a rook, not a castle. If your friend calls it a castle, put your finger against his lips and hush him incessantly until he stops talking, then drop a brick on his head. While technically not incorrect to call this piece a castle, use common sense. This is a castle. This is a rook. It looks more like a tower, to be honest. None of this makes sense. Rooks can move as many squares as they choose in either the horizontal or vertical directions. This is a knight. If your friend calls it a horse, put your finger against his lips and shush him incessantly. No, we did this one already. These drunk bastards stumbled 2 spaces straight and then 1 over. The crazy hooligan pool vaults over any piece in his way and only captures pieces on its final square of landing, presumably by squishing them. This is a bishop. Bishops are like rooks, except diagonal. This is a queen. No. No. Please stop. Ah, there we go. The queen moves wherever she wants, any amount of space, any direction, like the rook and the bishops had a child. She can't move like the knights do, unfortunately. This is going to be one of the most frustrating things about the game, I promise. Every queen needs a king, right? Okay, no. This queen needs a king, and here he is. He can only move 1 space in any direction, and he can't put himself in check. He is a coward, but you gotta protect him, or you lose. Check happens when your opponent is plotting to kill your king on the next move. If you put your opponent in check, then you have to yell CHECK as loud as possible to announce how much better you are than your opponent. In this example, the opponent's bishop put him in check, like this. If your king is in check, you must make any move that takes your king out of check, either by taking the piece putting you in check, moving a piece between them, or fleeing like a coward. Checkmate occurs when the king finds himself in check and is unable to make any move to get himself out. The player in checkmate loses. If a player has no more legal moves or checkmate is impossible, rather than wasting your life forever and ever, you get a stalemate, where no one wins and no one loses. Chess has 2 special cases about moves though. The first is called castling. There's 2 types of castling. This is called kingside castling, and this is called queenside castling. It is important to know that this is all one move. You can't castle if either piece is moved or your king passes through check. The other special case is called en passant. This is what it looks like. Did you catch that? This pawn moved forward too, and then this pawn came in and killed it, even though it wasn't there. This is possible because it was this pawn's first move, and then the kill shot happened directly after the play. Now comes the parts people rarely know about. For instance, you must play as though your other hand was cut off. You can only use one hand to move pieces, castle capture, etc. You think that's weird? Hear this. If you touch a piece, then you must move that piece. If you want to adjust a piece so that your OCD stops screaming at you, you can only do so at the beginning of your turn, and before touching the piece you must say je double, which is Canadian for I adjust. The last thing people forget is that chess is a game for gentlemen and ladies, so if you are a nuisance, then you forfeit the game. Being a nuisance includes annoying your opponent, insulting, distracting, or berating them. These are all grounds for your forfeit. If you've been paying attention, I've been putting this notation at the side of the screen. Hopefully you've concluded that this is the notation for the game. This is how the board is laid out. Numbers on the file, letters on the rank. Rook, knight, king, queen, bishop, check, checkmate, kingside castle, queenside castle. Piece comes first, followed by the letter and the number of the beginning space, then the letter, then the number of the space moved to. Pawns don't get a special sign, so anything without a sign is a pawn. This is a shorthand that chess nerds use to write chess games in a book without pictures. It's useful to at least understand them. And that's that. You can now play a game about kings and queens battling for victory with skill and strategy. And then once you're done playing King's Quest, you can also play chess. Have fun, mate!